Maybe it's because David Lee and I are both decisive when it comes to stressful situations, and there's no losing here. She's wearing a glittery white Templey London dress with colourful embroideries, her hair pulled back in a twisted updo with pieces firming her face. She's also sporting a bold red lip, a look befitting the La Dolce Vita dress code for her Italian market-themed rehearsal dinner set in the castle ruins at the idyllic Castiglion del Bosco in Tuscany. She and now husband, a former professional basketball player David Lee, know a thing or two about high-pressure moments. After all, Caroline has been ranked the top tennis player in the world, and he won an NBA championship in 2015 playing for the Golden State Warriors, and was a two-time All-Star and an All-NBA team member. Vogue has dubbed him sport's most romantic couple, and of course their effortlessly elegant wedding weekend included a bit of play. The Friday before the ceremony, the couple hosted rounds of Olympic-esque games. Guests overcame jet lag and sheer fatigue, given many had stayed up until 3 a.m. at the Thursday night welcome party, to attend a fireworks and laser show timed to music before jumping in the pool. The bride's fun-loving father, Piotr Wozniacki, who's also her coach, went in first, followed by the couple and about 70 guests. They then suited up in sweatbands, colored t-shirts, and face paint to participate in a competition put together by Sharky. "I obviously can't wait to get married, but this is so fun," Caroline said. "We're athletes, and our group is full of athletes. Really, it's part of us." The games were meant to serve as an icebreaker, a way for guests from her side and his side to get to know each other better in a picturesque, silly setting, and it worked. Throughout the rest of the weekend, attendees couldn't help but talk about how much fun they'd had out on the field. Challenges included over-the-top obstacle courses, outlandish relay races, and an epic tug-of-war, which everyone said Serena Williams won single-handedly. But no matter the gains and losses, competitors quickly became friends over the celebratory barbecue that followed. After a brief siesta, guests climbed the steps leading to the castle ruins at Castiglion del Bosco for the rehearsal dinner. The Italian band Gypsy Queens made the evening, roving from table to table taking requests and performing songs like Americano to set the mood. Food stands from different regions in Italy served lamb chops, salami, tomatoes, and hand-spun mozzarella that could make your heart melt. A risotto topped with truffles had guests going back for second and even clandestine third plates. Later in the evening, a gelato cart station next to the bar forced guests to forget about any dietary restrictions they were trying to honor back home. 2 scoops were necessary. Post-dessert, Caroline and David sat next to each other cozily, and were serenaded before heading off to rest up for the big day. The morning of the wedding, international event planner extraordinaire Alex Fitzgibbons of Fait Accompli jumped into action bright and early. The company behind the wedding celebrations for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooks Blank is so good they don't have an Instagram because, frankly, they don't need one. If you know, Fait Accompli oversaw the assemblage of a dramatic aisle measuring 262 feet, lined with white roses and purple snapdragons, and flanked by 2 large urns overflowing with flowers, all by Tuscany Flowers Florence. It ran through the center of Castiglion del Bosco, a departure from the estate's typical ceremony location. They're usually held either in the ruins or overlooking the hills. Fitzgibbons felt an aisle running the length of the stone pathway that bisects the property, and ends at the base of the staircase up to the castle ruins, provided the most dramatic entrance for the bride. At 6 p.m., Caroline walked down the aisle escorted by her father, wearing her custom Oscar de la Renta fern and floral lace-embroidered gown with a classic cathedral-length tulle veil. The bride and groom, tall and dashing in Tom Ford, then said their vows before 120 of their family and friends, including Serena Williams, who served as a bridesmaid, and Alexis Ohanian, Milwaukee Bucks NBA player Pau Gasol, Sacramento Kings NBA player Harrison Barnes, TV host and former NFL player Jesse Palmer, and pro tennis player Angelique Kerber, and the couple was pronounced husband and wife under the golden Tuscan sun. After the ceremony, guests relocated for cocktails at bar set up in the location where Kate Upton and Justin Verlander had the ceremony. At 8 p.m., there was a call to dinner. Everyone took the seats at one long table under a canopy of greenery strung with lights and hanging candles. The setting is already so beautiful, we thought it didn't need too much, so we did low flowers on the table. Caroline explains. A three-course dinner of Italian favorites was served while speeches were given. All of them were exceptional, but, as it should be, David's was funny, moving, and filled with love. Caroline and I really believe that we are the sum of who we are surrounded by, and with these family and friends that are gathered here today, we're very lucky, and that's something that's very special to us. So thank you for coming out, he said before telling his version of how he and Caroline met. It's November 2015, we're playing against the Miami Heat. I can't remember who won or lost, which probably means we lost by 30 points. I go out to dinner afterwards. They say every relationship begins with a miracle. The fact that you were out at dinner past 7:30 p.m., because normally you would be asleep at 8 p.m., was a miracle. They got to talking at dinner, and eventually David, realizing he'd forgotten to get her number, followed her out of the restaurant. They took the Fisher Island ferry back to her place, hung out for a bit, and then he went to sleep in the guest room. The next morning, he woke up hoping to get breakfast together, but she promptly informed him that she had practice. Thinking their shared status as professional athletes would lead to further bonding, he offered to come watch. People don't watch practice, she responded. He then suggested breakfast, but that wouldn't work either as her coach was on his way over. That's okay, David thought. I have a coach, you have a coach. I can eat with your coach. That won't work either, she said. My coach is my dad. Everyone erupted in laughter. David then went on to hilariously describe his very walk of shame home, before getting more serious as he addressed his new wife. The dedication you have to tennis, your daily routine, everything you do to be the champion that you are, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Even above that is the class and the principles that you live by, and that means more than any match you could ever win, any tournament you could ever win, and it's for that reason that young girls look up to you. The whole world looks up to you for what you do and what you stand for, and why I look up to you so much. As a man, you've made me a better person. I love you with all of my heart and promise to treat you like the most special woman now and forever. Cue the tears. After dinner, guests regrouped in the square where the ceremony had taken place to watch the bride and groom cut the 4-layer cake covered in white roses by Wedding Cakes in Tuscany. They then moved into a tent near the pool that had been transformed into Club Caro, complete with hot pink neon signage and disco balls suspended from the ceiling. Pop-up photo parlor had a photo booth set up with props for next-level selfies. And then, just at the moment when it seemed like all had been revealed, and before DJ to the Stars Sam totally took over, David surprised Caroline with a performance by the Danish pop star Lucas Graham. The first dance was to his hit Love Someone. With big smiles, the two swayed back and forth on the dance floor, living up to their shared title of sport's most romantic couple, no contest. Let's block ads. Why?